we're with VetaVA. More than likely you've heard about it. So we're not going to talk about it. Why? Because there's 2 rules in VetaVA, Christopher, and they are?
No cussing and no solicitation.
Which?
If you're going to work with veterans, I want you to understand these 2 things really quickly, okay? No cussing, no solicitation. What am I talking about? I'm talking about your personal conduct, which they're going to see long before they ever talk to you. You don't want to get in a cussing match with a veteran, I promise. The biggest Facebook terrorists that are out there, they will die on that hill. You will lose. So the point of no cussing, what we have in the community is we want a community that really builds people up, that creates a place where you can learn, where you can focus on things that matter and not all of the noise and nonsense that kind of exists everywhere else. So no cussing, right? Big conduct piece. No solicitation. Veterans, if you're going to work with veterans, you're going to reach out to them. Where'd old dude go? How many working parties he been on? I was going to use him as a prop, and he done walked off. Bodyguard's gone. Anyways, if you've been in the military, how many of y'all are in the military? Raise your hands. Active duty, reserve, whatever. Keep your hands up. How many of y'all know what a working party is? Like, I need 3 volunteers. What hands are going up now, right? The solicitation thing. So why is that such a big problem? Well, do y'all like being solicited? Like someone coming to your house, knocking on your door? I think as consumers that we all want to see or find the people that we want to work with and believe in them before we actually make it known, right? Before we bring that out and introduce it into something, because that at that point, the relationship changes, the dynamic changes, right?
Expectation.
So no cussing, no solicitation. It'll keep you on track.
All right, so you're going to hear that up here on here, guys, gals, anybody who's on stage, no cussing, all right? No solicitation. We're not going to tell you more about what we do, but let's break the ice. They said, AIME goes, hey, will you all just break the ice, get people like awake? And Chris is like, great, PT, let's go. And he wanted us to run around the casino, and I'm like, Chris,
I was literally going to make all of y'all do max sets of push-ups to wake up.
No, this civilian stopped doing that a while ago, and so I'm like, I don't know what that's about. So we're going to do something a little bit differently. We've got a pop quiz. So what I'd like you to do is you're going to scan that QR code. We're going to run through 4 questions, rapid drill style, and it's all about the VA loan.
So as quickly as you can, scan the QR code, get signed in, answer the questions as quickly as you can.
Well, we're going to walk through every question.
Oh, we are?
Yeah, we're going to walk them through, just like drill and then feedback and then go and then feedback. And then we're going to get into a little bit of dialogue on what VetaVA is focused on. So I see a bunch of names hopping on the quiz. This is awesome. Keep going, everybody. You got to scan the code, ask for help if you need it. We'll give you like 15 more seconds. Waiting. The code's gone. Oh, it's up there on the top. All right, here we go. Question number 1. The potential maximum guarantee on a joint loan is, choose the answer that best answers this question. Are we singing songs? Yeah. Whistle it out, buddy. Where is Bernard here? He could just call a cadence real quick while we're doing this.
Right.
I haven't seen him yet. All right. Are we good? 58 of 190. 74. Some of you are all slacking. I thought there were more than 190 people in here. Not taking.
Yeah, that's not. Everyone's not quizzing.
Right. Oh, 94. Oh, we got more people logging on. Good. Okay, here we go. Calculated based on the total loan amount. How many of you all think that's right? Okay, let's see the correct answer. Bingo. Well done. Now, how many of you had to ask your actual neighbor, your table partner? Like, yeah, oh, that's all right. We like that. We do like that. Let's move on to the next one.
57%.
Ari's in there, the 12 seconds to the fastest answer. Here we go. Which of the following may happen after the NOV is issued? Choose all that apply. Ooh, nice. Thanks for the music. I should have told him about lax.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, man. The lax are awesome.
57% of them got the right answer.
That's a good one. It's
like
also not 100%.
57.
All right, we doing good? It's almost like school. Like I need somebody to like put their hand up that they're done or set your phone down, but don't do that. I can't see you, so it doesn't matter. All right, here we go. Let's get the answer on this one. Oh, okay. Which of the following may happen after the NOV? I'm guessing that the one that doesn't apply is interested parties may contact the appraiser. Let's see the correct answer. Nice work, all right. But we had a couple missed. The veterans may request a waiver of repair requirement. All right, let's go on the next one. Got 2 more to go. Rachel Clark, well done. Significant debts and obligations are choose that all apply. Those with the remaining term of 12 months or more, those with the remaining term of 10 months or more, any account with a payment of more than $50, or accounts with a term of less than 10 months that require payment so large as to cause a severe impact on the family's resources for any period of time. What did they tell you in school when you did a quiz?
I can't hear you, what?
Oh, what did they tell you in school when they did a quiz?
What did they
Choose the longest answer, right?
Oh, well, usually the longer
I don't know if
answer
this
is
is
the right
right,
one.
though, yeah.
But you did, yeah.
Choose all that apply.
I
didn't
like
write
Billy
this one.
knew that, though.
Yeah, Billy
and
totally
she
knew.
played us.
Yeah, she did. All right, let's go to the answers. Let's see what we're getting. Some of y'all are falling off. Oh, these answers are popping in. Good. 142. Okay, that last one, people are liking that one.
It's that long answer thing.
Let's get that right answer. What do we got? Oh, nice. Okay. Those are the remaining term of 12 months or more. Those are the remaining term of 10 months or more. It's in chapter 4, in case you want to know where it's at. All right. Final one. Let's go. Rachel Clark still kicking. An appraisal from a model home for a proposed construction appraisal is only acceptable if, choose the right answer. How we doing? It's really quiet out there. I don't hear a lot of side chatter.
It's good because I have a headache.
All right, let's throw up those answers. Well, there's only one to choose from. If the model home is fully completed, the same plan type as the subject home, located in the same market area and readily accessible to the assigned fee appraiser. And the correct answer is bingo. Nice work. But that's only like 60% of y'all answering that question. 96 answers in. Let's close this one up. How do we finish off? Rachel Clark, stand up and take a bow. Well done.
You got Brandy on there, too.
Huh?
Oh, she got 3 of 4, though.
Yeah, Jan Crowley. Oh, Jan. Wait, where's Jan? That's our realtor.
Yeah.
Vetivier realtor. Love that. Awesome work.
Yeah,
All
so
right.
you have Jan, who's a realtor, and you have Brandy, who's been licensed for like 25 minutes, and then you have like 57% of them that have no clue.
Yeah, that's all right. Well, we're going to talk about that. Let's move on. I think that should wrap it up. So let's dive into kind of what we wanted to talk about on this. I've got 3 points for you. And what I'm going to do, my job, Christopher and I have a partnership in this. He called me and said, I have an idea, I have a design. How do we do it? And I said, I don't know. Let's talk about it. We whiteboarded December of 2019 what a training compartment or department would look like for VA loans. And I'll tell you, it was a very interesting conversation. I grew up, I went to college, I did not serve in the military, and I kind of, it's one of those, which path do you take, right? The path lesser traveled, and in my family, it was college. My dad and my grandfather had been in the military, and it was like, well, Dad was like, go to college, buddy. Like, you can do it. And so I did. Well, I have a great respect for my veteran friends, my brothers, my family, those that went out and served. And so Christopher did serve. And so we're talking, and he says, hey, to understand me, you need to understand where I come from, the Marines. And he grabs the green monster off his shelf, and he puts it down in front of me and goes, read this, and you'll get it. And I started thumbing through it, and I realized how basic it was, how baseline. Every movement had an instruction. Everything was point, point, point.
It's because Marines are really stupid. You have to break it down Barney style for us.
I can't speak to it because you're pretty smart. But I'll say that what I liked about it was that we looked at how to actually teach VA loans and realized, what are we teaching but theory? The book is written. So that's where we dive into a couple key takeaways. Christopher, you are fond of saying in our calls about VetaVA, train like you fight. What does that mean, and how do we do that in VetaVA?
Yeah, train like you fight is pretty simple. For those of you that served, you already know what I'm talking about here. When you serve in the military, you live in a reality that is this. Today I'm training, but so are my enemies. And if they train harder than me, and they sweat more, and they bleed more today, then I may be the one that loses on the battlefield. So you train like you fight, because it's the closest thing you can do to simulate the real world environment, right? And you want to be prepared for those moments. We take training exceptionally serious with a VA loan because y'all can see in your answers here, the questions on the test aren't designed to make you all feel slow. It's early, give yourselves ads early. Some of you drank too much, add that one too. The point is, on a question like entitlement, do you think a room like this should score higher than a 57%? My question on entitlement, basic entitlement? Because basic entitlement, just so y'all know, for those of you that didn't serve, this is something that's earned contractually. You all create notes, obligations, binding things with terms. And veterans have fulfilled theirs in order to achieve the VA loan. And so I think the problem is when we can recognize that veterans have earned a loan type, but we don't train and we don't take serious enough their specific needs with that loan type, we become the things that destroys their hopes and dreams. Guys and gals, missing legs, arms, all of it. You hear things like not enough skin in the game. Like, don't ever say that. If all y'all take away from this entire panel from me today, never say there's not enough skin in the game on that VA offer. The point is, contractually, they've earned something. It's the only mortgage that's earned by fulfilling an obligation honorably, right? And I think because of that, for those of us in here that don't take very serious training, what are we doing? Do you train? Like, how do you train for mortgages? Do you wake up in the morning and you're like, oh my God, I'm gonna do basic entitlement, calculated. Do you calculate basic entitlement drills in the morning over your coffee? How do y'all train? How do you train? Do you recognize that training is the thing that you need to do in everything you do to get better? If you can recognize that's true in nearly every other facet in your life, and you can honestly say right now with VA loans that you don't train, that's what I want to wake you up to this morning. I just want you to be awake to that. And whether it's us, another community, yourself in a closet with a VA handbook, what I want you to know is this little piece real quick. Every Marine is a what? Thank you, Mrs. Air Force. Brandy Alongi, every Marine is a rifleman. What does that mean? It means our cook will shoot you in the face. Our admin clerk will shoot you in the face. All of them. Because they know their weapon inside and out. As professionals, your basic weapon to serve my brothers and sisters is a 26 TAC 7. It's a VA handbook. You should be able to take it apart, clean it, put it back together again, and weapons function safety test that thing. That is your basic weapon to serve veterans. And if you haven't spent time training in the handbook, learning it, understanding it, the peaks, the valleys, the troughs, where things are located, then you're part of the problem. And I say that incredibly humbly. I don't want to offend anybody. Ignorance is the biggest problem impacting veterans in housing today. Our ignorances. And that's what Vet VA exists to destroy, ignorance. Does that answer your question?
That was great. Training, when you come to a summit, a mastermind, a master class, a this, a that, what are you taking? You're getting education. Training is not education. Training is the repetitive motion, putting it into practice, making that muscle stronger. That's what we do. I didn't pull a video, but at summer camp, we had a day of automatic rifles, and it was fun, really fun. So we're shooting a 308. I've never shot an automatic rifle. We've got a Marine, I'm forgetting his name. Mick. Mick was with me, and we're shooting, and my gun stalls. And I have been with Christopher enough now the last couple of years, building and listening and talking. He says, tap, rack, bang, tap, rack, bang. And like in my head, I know it, but I didn't know how to do it. And what I find with a lot of professionals is that we know it, we just don't do it
They don't
regularly.
know what tap, rack, bang is. Where's a Marine? Raise your hand if you're a Marine. What's tap, rack, bang? It's an immediate action drill. If your weapon goes down in a fight, the fastest way to get back in the fight, tap, rack, bang, right? The point is you're driving your bolt home, tap, rack, you're sending a new round in, and then squeeze the trigger again. Regardless of whether the problem was a failure to feed, failure to object, any of these other things, it's the fastest immediate reaction drill that you can do to get the weapon system back in the fight. And so what we focus on are developing immediate reaction drills that are specific to some of the breakdowns and obstacles that you encounter originating VA loans.
I was looking for photos that could talk about tap, rack, bang, and then I remembered cleaning guns with you after summer camp, and I'm like, oh, this is a good one. As you know, actually, maybe you don't know this, I pull all of our photos off the Department of Defense. They actually have a really good library. Hey, y'all, if you're going to make a flyer for the veteran community, would you stop using Adobe or stop using the free Pexels photos? Go to Department of Defense and get some real photos. The veterans know this. They see it and they hate it when we use the wrong ones. It just kind of shows that we don't know what we're talking about. So what you see out here are 3 Marines breaking down their M16s, breaking down their other firearms. I think they were all, actually, if I remember correctly. But Christopher, when tap, rack, bang, how do we do that in the mortgage industry? How do we do that when serving veterans? How do we do that in our business?
Oh, you're asking?
Oh, yeah, sorry. I'll stand closer. I don't know if you can hear me. How do we do?
What do you do? What do you do when an appraisal doesn't come in at value on a VA loan? There's really not a correct answer. There's a bunch of correct answers here. The point is, all of you, as soon as I said that immediately, you know what immediately your reaction to that news is and what your next steps are going to be. Getting things down to where you have a process, a 1, 2, 3, for everything, and how you deal with reactive change in a dynamic environment is everything. And so when we talk about immediate action drills, we're talking about practicing the movements that cause you, as soon as you encounter that breakdown, instead of like going to that freak out spot, the next thing you know, your hands are already doing something. It's muscle memory. You practice and you train the breakdown that you think that you're likely to encounter, so that when you do encounter it, you're not having to react the same way. Your hands already know where to go. They already remember things like tap, rack, bang, right? Like you're doing things. And that's the point of taking immediate reaction and creating drill-type movements around it behind certain functionalities.
Absolutely. And that's why the testing, the training should be towards the 26-7. That's why you look at those. That's why you look at Ginnie Mae chapter 24. Why in the world would the VA lender handbook say that this will happen, and then you try to do the loan and no lender will actually do it? Well, you got to reference that against the Ginnie Mae 24, chapter 24. Tap, rack, bang, always going back and doing the breakdown. And then finally, the strength in community. This is something that is personal as we have gathered. I think about my community growing up and how I sought a community regularly. I was never the kid, could never identify as that kid until somebody said, oh, you're the band nerd. It's like, dang it, that's not the community I wanted, right? I wanted to choose my community. I wanted to be the jock. I was in swimming, I was in tennis, I did those things, but I was the band kid because I played bass. I did orchestra, I did band and jazz. Sometimes you're assigned a community. Sometimes you choose a community. Sometimes you're assigned a family, sometimes you choose your family. I think there's power in both, if you're a leader. Strength in community, you don't do it alone. What does that mean to you?
I did a job and worked for a job in the Marine Corps where you're expected to be a subject matter expert. You're expected to be alone and afraid, and most of the time you're operating on an island. You can do your job perfectly, and something back there can blow you up. You can do your job perfectly, and because you're not around your community, you're in harm's way. You can get blown up at any point, right? Community, to me, means that my ability to serve others does not rely on my capacity alone. There's no one person in our community that possesses all of the knowledge. It's the community itself that does that. And it's the community's desire to serve a mission collectively together, even though they're incredibly different in that community, right? It's their desire to serve a mission together that holds them there. It causes them, in the military, like, there's a lot of cliches people talk about. At the end of the day, you're doing what you're doing because of the person you're left and right, like you care about them. And that's it. And that's really what community breaks down to, I think, is caring about the people to your left and right enough so that you're looking out for them and you're trying to serve them. Community is the thing, in my honest opinion, after seeing y'all's answers up here, all of y'all need to have community when you're structuring VA loans or asking VA questions. I think that's important because you're not alone and unafraid on an island. How many of y'all 5 years ago, how many of y'all were at the first fuse? Y'all remember what being on an island was back in 17, 16, 12? Before that for some of y'all out here? We're not alone on an island anymore. There's no need for us to pretend or to exist in a bubble. You have peers sitting all around your table that hold knowledge that you can ask questions to. You have all sorts of communities you can bring your questions to, whether they're AIME, whether they're VETA professionals only, or whether it's the round table that you're sitting at. The point of it is, if you exist in community when you encounter problems and spars and obstacles, community's most likely what's going to bring you past those. In the Marine Corps, we go through something called the Crucible. It's like a 3-day thing that just sucks. Like, in 3 days, like 100 miles, you got 35, 45 pounds packed in your bag. You've got all of these drills and all of these obstacles that are literally incapable of being overcome by an individual. And so you spend 3 days drilling nothing but teamwork. I think one thing that a lot of y'all have here that could benefit you is if you work with veterans or you have veterans around you, a veteran's understanding of teamwork and what that truly means is something that can impact your companies greatly. We all have different things that make us valuable to one another, but the commitment and devotion to team, to a mission, is something I think especially veterans in y'all's companies can help out a lot with. They can drive the rest of your team, right? But community in and of itself exists when we choose it. We have to decide which communities we're going to be a part of. And so what I want to do today is challenge you all, mainly based off of seeing your answers, to find a VA community. Find 5 VA friends. Go to vetava.com, look for the map, and find 5 of those people and put them at your table and call them when you have your questions. Our community exists to serve all of those people with questions, with human intelligence. How many of y'all are afraid of Zillow or any of these other big companies replacing you with a bot? How many of y'all think the originators, oh God, sorry, the originators, real estate agents, none of y'all have concern about being replaced by an algorithm or automation, AI? There are. You want to know why they're going to lose? You know how in the Marine Corps, if a commander has a critical intelligence gap and he needs an answer for it, it has to do with why. Human intelligence is the only intelligence discipline in the military that consistently answers why. You have to have another human to go in and talk to another human if you want to know why. With housing, how much does it impact in our life? Everything. There are so many other tangible things that factor into our choice and decision behind a note, behind a home, whatever those things are, that we're looking for why this versus that from another human. And that's your staying power. Your ability to create a human intelligence network that functions together with veracity and checks and balances, that will determine how quickly you can scale and grow and how well you're able to serve others.
Perfectly said. I chose these photos because they're building. That is actually a photo of the Crucible. And then if you look on the top right, you've got one Marine who is ready to go and his buddy's checking to make sure. Department of Defense, those were live shots. I love that photo library because as a civilian, that reminds me of what we do. That's not posed, that was ready to go. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you are learning from each other. We're going to have an entire day of more people on this stage sharing. Not telling you what to do, how to do it, or why to do it, but hopefully motivating you. Have an open heart and an open mind. If you consider yourself a VA expert, I challenge you to put that aside for today. I challenge you to listen to something different. I challenge you to be challenged. That will make change for all of us. So with that, Christopher, last parting thoughts. You got 30 seconds.
I want to say thank y'all for being awake this early in Vegas on Thursday morning. Thank you for attending the VA Summit. I know a lot of y'all know that veteran-facing housing issues are incredibly important to me, and I get accused of being passionate about them a lot. And I swear to God, if I could infect all of you like COVID with the passion that I have to serve people that are generally underserved, I would. The good news is it's not just veterans. So whatever you take from this conference today, there are all sorts of groupings of people that have similar circumstance that create huge obstacles for them in what we do daily. Regardless of what that community looks like, dig in, start training, understand the things that dictate what they can and can't do, and make it a point of yours to know those things or know where they exist and have quick access to them. Because if you don't, what I respectfully want to tell you is eventually you will be the reason, you will be the person that kills someone's hopes and dreams. Like, we might not think of mortgage as life and death. How many of y'all have had a home loan not happen, a closing not happen that was your fault, and you're responsible for killing that dream? It is life and death. That's what I would submit to y'all. Mortgage is life and death. American dream is that serious. The reality of home ownership, what it can do for a family, especially those that have never had anything, is massive. The data is out there. I know all of you know it. You're in the business already. But if we're not being responsible about how we train to make sure that when we tell a veteran or any other person that we're the best capable and able to serve them in that instance, then just understand, if we haven't done our work, then we are literally the people responsible for killing hopes and dreams. Don't be that person.
All right. We are going to move on. Thank you, sir.
A lot of good speakers today.
Good work.
A lot of good speakers today.